Hi, Shawn.
Hi, Joel.
You have 15 minutes for us to get to know you. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
All right. Okay, so who are you in your own words?
Well, Joel, I'm Shawn Loh. I'm the new candidate at Wampo and Jalan Besar GRC for the PAP team. But I think what most people remember about me is that I'm in my 30s and I have 4 young kids, all aged 12 and below. But beyond that, I come with some experience both in the public sector as a policymaker, as well as now in the private sector, leading a small homegrown local enterprise.
Okay. And how do you feel like your life experiences so far have, shaped your perspective or approach to things?
I think they've given me a very balanced perspective, both within the civil service, making policies, and then also on the receiving end of the policies in business. So not only have I been part of the policy-making process, I've had to fill up forms to apply for government grants, land, and other government benefits as part of the business community. So I sort of have a bit of more empathy on what businesses have to go through to interact with the government as well.
All right. So pitch yourself, right? Like what qualities do you have that makes you feel like you can be a good MP?
I think maybe, Joe, that's a great question. Maybe I'll put it in terms of 3 E's. And this is what I'm getting the feedback from the community that I'm in. The first is the energy of youth. So a lot of the residents that I meet say, oh, this young guy, so much youth, so much energy. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to the community. So it's the energy of youth. The second one, as I said earlier, is the experience of being a policymaker, where I can get a better sense about what is practical and what's feasible in terms of future government policies. And the third is the expertise in the private sector. So a lot of residents say that it's not just someone who has been a formal civil servant, but also someone who has the experience in the private sector. So to some extent, our residents seem to be getting a 2-for-1 deal.
Let's talk about private and public, right?
Sure.
So when it comes to the public, what is the biggest lesson you've learned, and same thing for the private?
In the public sector, I must say the biggest thing I've learned is that we have national level policies. We have policies where we look at medians and averages and we try to achieve a certain policy outcome. What I've learned walking in the community also is that the last mile of policy delivery must also be customized to the individual. And that's where the community comes in. Because government policies can only do it at the average level, but we need the community to come in to support each and every resident. In the private sector, that's a bit more unique because I was in the private sector during COVID. And then I'm now back in the private sector during a time in which the economic conditions are not business as usual. So it's a bit of same, but different, if I can say so. And I think in both instances, the sense I'm getting from the business as well as other colleagues around other businesses is that there's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what the next week will bring, let alone the next month or the next year. And I think that's something that is a bit more unique in these times.
Got it. So why politics, right? And that's my question. Like, why politics?
That's right. A lot of people ask me that question. In fact, my children ask me that question as well. I must say it was not an easy decision. It was not an easy decision. I think at its core is about the fact that we have a duty to contribute as best as we can. And so when I was first asked to consider political service, I hesitated, mainly because I struggled with the idea of being there for my young children. I think like many of our listeners have the same struggles, the balance between parenting and their other life commitments. But my wife said something very important, which is that if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And our family always believed that we had a moral duty to contribute beyond ourselves and beyond our family. And this is the path in which we are choosing to contribute. I often say to our volunteers and those who are with me in the community that politics to me is not a career at all. It's a calling. And it's a calling to contribute in whatever way we can. So I'm saying this not as just a political slogan, I must add. But I say it as a moral statement. Not just for me, but for you, Joe, and for the team here as well. Wherever we are, I believe we have a moral duty to contribute beyond ourselves.
Understand. there are many ways to contribute as well, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, for example, for us, it's medium.
That's
If
right.
you enter the politics world, there are many parties as well. So why the PAP?
I believe the PAP's values are quite aligned to my values. The PAP is a national party with the instincts to be all things to all men. And I think the second part is that the PAP is also the party where you can have the greatest ability to make a difference and contribute to the future of our nation. So that was important to me. I do want to recognize and acknowledge that whether or not you're in the PAP or in another party, I do have a very healthy level of respect for all political candidates that are stepping forward. Because it's not easy. Right? I spoke about the struggles as a young parent, but I'm not the only young parent entering politics. On all sides, on all parties, there are young parents entering politics. And we do understand the difficulties in going through this season of life together. And so I have a healthy dose of respect for all political parties and all the candidates stepping forward. The PAP, however, gives us the best opportunity to make that larger contribution. It also gives us the best chance to ensure the success of Singapore going forward.
All right. And what is the one thing that you'll be the most passionate about? Or tell me what are things that you care about the most?
Those are two different questions. I think the one thing I'm most passionate about is values. And the one value that I think is important is being other-centered or being life-giving, right? Where all of us, not just those who are entering politics, but all Singaporeans are there to step forward to contribute to the society and to the community around them. But specifically in terms of what I'm looking forward to contribute to, especially based on my conversations with our residents, in Whampoa and Jalan Besar, it's quite unique because we have many seniors who are getting old. We also have many young families moving in. So just like Singapore, it's an estate under some renewal. And for our seniors, I do get the sense that they need more peace of mind in retirement, especially in their very old years. Many seniors I meet are not in their 60s or 70s, they're in their 80s. Yesterday, I met someone in her 90s. And when they retired quite a few years, maybe a few decades ago, they may not have had the expectation to be able to live so long. And a lot of them need more peace of mind in retirement. I see many seniors being a bit more frail. In the neighborhood, infrastructure is also important. So making our roads and our infrastructure senior friendly is important. At the same time, for young families, many young families have moved in. I understand firsthand the importance of childcare being accessible and within walking distance and of a high quality. And so for many of our residents who have moved in, the childcare centers are not yet up, and it's something that we hope to have in the years to come.
All right. I think for me, the leaders that we have for me, the values that the leaders have are very important. So maybe you can share with us, like, what are, values that are important to you?
Yeah. So it's that one value that I mentioned earlier, the value of other-centeredness, which means that whenever you are faced with a problem or a question that you need to decide on, you ask yourself not what's in it for me, what's in it for myself. No, you ask the question, how can I do my best for the people around me? And I think that's important. That's the value that we bring to the community. And I don't take any credit for this. So Mr. Heng Chee Hao, the MP that I'm taking over, has always said this to me: residents first, volunteers second, and you place the MP last. And that's something that I hope to continue.
When we talk about communities or interest groups, are there any that you feel like you have a closer relationship with, or you feel like you can represent better?
Young families, definitely. Young families. Please excuse me, I need to wipe my nose. It's a bit cold here.
We can turn up the aircon.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're wearing a jacket.
That's right.
I'm not wearing a jacket. So what was the question on?
Like, for communities and interest groups, which one do you feel like you can represent better?
Young families is one community that I hope to represent a lot more. I think quite unique to me, and maybe because of my experience, businesses are a constituency that I hope to give a voice to.
Businesses.
Like, because now I'm in the private sector in a homegrown local enterprise, which owns and operates businesses in the F&B value chain. We're often mistaken for a investment company, but we're not. We are a conglomerate that operates the businesses, so there's operating expertise in cold chain logistics, in food manufacturing, and in food service and retail. So we understand the difficulties of businesses, both SMEs as well as larger companies, the difficulties in terms of managing costs, of labor, of rent, of ensuring that you can provide the jobs and the livelihoods of all your workers. So for the business that I'm in, we have 1,000 workers now, more than 1,000, and 1,000 livelihoods depend on the success of the business.
Sorry, that's a 5 minutes mark.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, but I want to know about you speak about business. What are some, issues that you think business owners are facing today, across the board?
I think business owners are facing cost pressures. A lot of the cost pressures are global in nature because a lot of businesses have costs that are incurred overseas because of importing their goods, their raw materials, even their labor. And so cost pressures are always on the minds of businesses. At the same time, what is most top of mind now is the uncertain global economic climate. So we have a changed world. It's very difficult to understand what the next month will be in terms of whether or not you're going to be slapped with tariffs, whether your end customer will still want to buy from you if you're exporting overseas. And these are all areas of business which are probably a bit more salient today and where people are a bit more worried about.
All right. The other community that you said you are able to represent is the young families. What are some of the concerns you think that they'll have in time to come?
Childcare is a big issue. I think work life is a big issue. For many young families, we're struggling with many things. So we're struggling with the desire to be the best parent you can be. You're struggling with being in a position or season in your life where you want to do your best for your career at the same time. And there's so many things that we are being pulled in different directions. And to some extent, we need to provide that higher level of confidence and assurance to our young families as well. We can help with costs. We can help with flexibilities. And there are many things that I think we should not be content about today and that I hope to bring forward to the policy debate in the future.
All right. And tell me about, the Singapore that you're hoping to build.
I hope we can build a more caring and compassionate Singapore, one that's more respectful. I think you and I, Joel, we think we're the same generation. I think we are the same generation.
Okay.
We believe in a more respectful political climate, right? One where we're talking about ideas, not about people, where we are debating the practicality of the ideas, not the people who are voicing those ideas. I think that's important because what we need is a political climate that generates the best ideas for the country. And I hope I bring that, in this generation, brings that to politics in the future.
Nice. What is something from this conversation that you would like the audience to remember about you?
I hope to be that credible and competent candidate for our voters, especially in Jalan Besar and in Whampoa. And as you can see, I speak from my heart. I hoped that I've shown an aspect of me that may not have come forward in the media interviews, and especially because, when we are in the community, we only have like those 1 or 2 minutes to meet people. So in 15 minutes, I hope our residents can learn a bit more about me and about what I care about and hopefully what I stand for as well.
Understand. And my last question to you, why should young Singaporeans in your constituency consider voting for you?
Well, I'm part of that generation. I'm part of that generation of young Singaporeans, maybe voting for the first, second, maybe third time. I voted probably only 2 or 3 times in the past.
I think this is my second.
There we go. So we're in the same generation. And I hope to represent our voice in Parliament, where we will provide our generation's views and the values that our generation brings to the table. Because our generation is one that may not have grown up with the internet. Or maybe you grew up with the internet, but I didn't grow up with the internet when I was in preschool. I started in primary school, and we've gone through many changes, but we have different values than our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation. And so it's important that our generation also steps forward to represent our values and our vision for the country.
What do you think, our generation cares the most about, actually? Like, based on the conversations you've been having with, I'm sure you speak to youth groups.
Yes.
Like, what are some of the things that they, bring up to you?
I think respect is a very big one. Respect for self and respect for others. And so I think our generation is a very optimistic one. I see a lot of optimism in our generation, in our young volunteers that have come forward to volunteer with me, in actually the media and the questions that you all ask nowadays. And I think
optimistic.
I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic about the confidence that our generation is bringing forward, because we believe in not just one pathway of success, we believe in multiple pathways of success, and more importantly, multiple pathways of joy and fulfillment. And I think that we have the optimism and the confidence to do so because of what our parents gave us. We also want to be in a more respectful political climate, and I hope to also bring that to the table.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Wow!
On the dot.
On the dot.